Good morning everybody, or whenever you happen to be watching this. Welcome to my infomercial bug breaker edition of Prison Architect Alpha, game that I've got very interested in quite recently. Now, first question which you may want to know is that there are 5 games in the Prison Tycoon series. Actually 5, so you may wonder, why the heck do we need another one of those things? Well, the answer to that is, to put an onto fine point in it, the Prison Tycoon offerings are solid piles of steaming crap. I played Prison Tycoon 2 quite a while ago. It wasn't particularly memorable. I gave it away, and frankly you only need one prison sim in your life, so why should this make the deal and not the Tycoon series? As we can see, it's in 2 dimensions, whereas the Tycoon series is in 3 dimensions. However, 3D... oh, let's not zoom in because we get a little bit of background noise interfering with my narration. Having stuff in 3D doesn't necessarily equate to good graphics. Now, I've seen playthroughs of the other Tycoon games in the series. Textures are kind of blobby and blocky, and it's a very ugly mesh, and for the most part it's a top-down view anyway, so this is 2-dimensional, but everything's quite clean and high-res, and the graphics are quite cutesy. If you zoom in on one of our prisoners here, yeah, that's funny. So I was intending this to be a tutorial of how the game works, but I seem to push the limits of the alpha really quickly and find out where all the spots that need improvement are. First thing I have to say, in the Prison Tycoon series, the later ones at any rate, there was no manuals or in-game documentation. Now, this obviously gets a free pass on that because it is in an alpha stage of development. However, I just want the game devs to bear that in mind. Please, 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 as soon as you can, in-game documentation, because frankly it makes testing easier. You see, there was a whole bunch of features that I was going to request, and I found out that they were already in the game. I just didn't know how to make them work. So manuals, tooltips, that kind of thing really helps out in that respect. So first thing we're going to look at is our maximum security block, and we see 2 guards who are stationed there. Now, for anyone who's played Evil Genius, you may remember the trick of building staff room strips along the pathways that they had to walk. Now, you can't actually do that here because the staff room, if I can find it, has a minimum size of 4x4. Now let's see if I can build that in one go. Objects. And I always forget the electrical cabling with these things, so let's take care of that. Notice that we can speed up time here to make construction go fast, but you'll probably want it on play button 2 for most of the game, and that for when action is happening. We'll probably see some action in a bit. Alright, skipped ahead to when the staff room got built. They built it pretty quick, but at any rate, it's a very good idea to have No, I don't want to know. For goodness sake. It's a good idea to have little miniature staff rooms built all around the complex, rather than having a massive, huge staff room right in the middle, because that really isn't efficient. So you want staff rooms placed near hotspots so that the guards don't have too far to go. Right, this is the Newgrounds prison. It's my second prison. It's still a little sloppy. I could have designed it better, but I've been getting to know the kinks of the game and the ins and outs. And we'll be doing a full improvement demonstration in a while. And it does Newgrounds. It does kind of look like a game that you would find on Newgrounds with the graphical style, but it is about 200 megabytes. This, so wouldn't really play in your browser. Right, I have loaded from an earlier saved game. This isn't the ultimate version of the prison. It's not the latest version. I had a very nasty little surprise in my maximum security area, which isn't that great at being maximum security, to be honest. But we'll see if that happens again once they go into their routine. Right, hard-working janitor. Alright, that's their free time. I think we had the incident in... Oh no, wait. Oh! Yeah. Wow, yes. He's done it again. He's gone. Okay. Yeah, prisoners can actually grab the shotgun off the armed guards, which is bad. I had absolutely no idea they can do that. So if you don't get more than one, the armed guards can actually be a liability rather than an asset, because they could end up just shooting everyone who's supposed to be guarding them, as well as the other prisoners. And I really should have put some fence there as well. So let's do a take two with that. See what happens. Okay, everyone, this is take two of the jailbreak. Let me show you something interesting. They're probably going to start trouble again. Interesting. So, as you just saw there, we instantly deployed armed guards, and despite the death, they have immediately quelled that attempt. Now, consider this. Emergencies button, riot police. We can call the riot police in. Okay. And they come in. And they debark. And they're there. Right. Tell them to go there. We will tell them to go there with the other mouse button. Right, that's better. You don't use the doors or anything. Right. I'll just speed that up a bit. There's the time. Yeah, they arrived at roughly 5 to 10. Okay. So it's taken them about 30 seconds and half an hour in game time to get to the trouble spot, whereas I can just click on staff, and if I have enough lockers here, I can instantly deploy armed guards. Riot police are made kind of redundant by this, so I would consider making it more difficult to deploy armed guards to a hot zone if something is actually... Right, they're starting again. Okay. This is not a good mood today. Shut up, I'm trying to record a video. Okay. Actually, as well, I've been told, I have no way of measuring this, but I've been told that having the riot police there will, of themselves, cause tension and aggravation, so we're going to say goodbye to them. But yeah, where was I? Slowing down how we can deploy guards, or seriously speeding up the riot police arrival and how fast they can get there. Not too difficult to deploy armed guards, mind, but straight outside would be just fine, just not kind of right in the middle of where there's a fight happening. Okay, so let's move to the latest version of the prison. Now it's interesting, this prison is functioning fairly well and it's flowing fairly smoothly. We now have a kind of parole office that's been put into the warden's office. Now the interesting thing is I built this prison in Alpha 28, it was before Alpha 29, and we didn't have parole functionality, so once that was added, kind of in the middle of the night, I ended up with a huge backlog of prisoners that were due to parole, and consequently everybody is pissed off. But there's not much I can do about that. Again, the things I were going to request were a chapel and a library, and we now have those in the update, so that's excellent. Don't have to request them. Right. Right, now what I want to look at here is deployment and the deployment menu. Okay, so as you can see here, you've got guards stationed in the various different areas. You click twice in the area, that adds another icon, and that'll decide how many guards are stationed there. What's bothering me is patrols. Okay, let's look at this. You can see that the time slot here has been assigned different numbers. Again, we could do with some documentation because I've no idea what the heck's going on here. Right. It seems we can assign different timings to different patrol routes. Yeah, here's my issue with it. That says Schedule 1 only, which means they'll patrol during these hours only. Seems simple enough so far. There you go, you see he's immediately stopped. And that says Schedule 2 only. What my serious problem with this is I only seem to be able to assign Schedule 2 when the clock is actually at that time, which is crap. Okay, that's stupid. I want to be able to assign whatever time it is to the patrol route, regardless of what actual time the clock says. That's the whole point of having a planner and planning ahead, so that needs a lot of work. Yeah, and patrols are still kind of gimmicky, and they need expanding, really. Oh, that is filthy. Filthy floor. And the other problem, slight issue with this, is the armed guards. Let me just employ yet another armed guard. Oh. Right. Don't seem to be able to station them like we do the regular guards, which I think isn't good, to be honest. You can place them down and they won't wander around randomly like the other guards do. It kind of just stands there looking creepy. And you have to assign them to patrols if you want them to go to a specific area. I would like to station them and order them to stay put. And the problem... Right, tunnel being dug there. The problem with armed guards and patrols, I don't know if we're going to see it happen, but they seem to be randomly assigned. You don't get to assign a specific guard to a specific route. It'll pick one at random. So if I want that guy to stay there, say I wanted him to stay there by the door and guard it, he's not going to do it. You know, because he could be randomly assigned to a patrol and it just zoom off and do it. Although we do have direct control over him. Okay. But I would like to say, here's a place where you're going to stand. Because even though he will stay where you first put him, you know, all the staff get tired and they're going to go back to the armory room. Alright. So here's the rest of Newgrounds in the medium security block. Currently holding 53 prisoners for a tidy profit. Could hold a lot more prisoners if I, you know, squash the cells in, but I absolutely refuse to have toilets right next to the bed, or toilets in line with the bed without a partition, because it is really bad feng shui. It's not good for the energy flow of the building. Before you ask, no, there isn't a feng shui dynamic in the game. That's just me and my preferences. Alright, and speaking of deployment, okay, we can assign minimum, medium and maximum security to all the buildings, and that decides where the prisoners go. This is staff only, that decides where the staff go. So, speaking of that, this is all good. I would like an option that says guards only, because as we can see here, we have a cook, and he is taking the route through the solitary confinement block to the kitchen, and he's doing that instead of going to the storeroom here for some reason, even though it's not really a room. We have fried eggs out in the open, but whatever, you know, he's taking that route, and I would rather that he didn't. I really would rather not, because that's been connected to that, because I want the guards to have a quick route, if these prisoners misbehaved, the guards to have a quick route to take them through the shrink brainwashing office and straight into solitary through the jail doors, and it's not really a civilian route. So I would like an option that would block that off to the regular staff and say guards only. And this is also how we are keeping the prisoners from escaping confinement at the moment, because we have that area blocked off and it says staff only, and I've actually built a fence around the complex. Also, it does beg the issue, parole has been slightly problematic, because if I start the parole for the time slot of the earlier time slot, which I think is 6 to 10 AM, nobody shows up for it. I'm not sure. I think that's because they're still in lockdown at that time, but nobody shows up for it, and parole backlog just gets bigger. So what we want for that is some overrides for the time. If they're on lockdown and they've got a parole hearing, it should be overridden, and they should make their way to the parole office. And also, you know, prisoners can't go through here without an escort, and that's a problem because you know, they can be escorted through these areas by a guard, but they can't go through it by themselves. And I've noticed that they tend to show up to the parole room by themselves. So really, again, we need an override for the staff blocking when it comes to parole hearings. So that's just two minor issues that need looking at for the next alpha release. And the other thing is that this game does not like Bandicam for whatever reason, which means I have to record in Fraps, and the file sizes are horrendous. So I would rather be able to record it in Bandicam if someone could look into that, because it means that I have to keep these videos quite short. But there you go. Hope everyone enjoyed looking at the little prison escape attempt here, and you can bear that in mind when building your own prisons, that they will steal stuff off the guards if they have the trait. Because that's actually a character trait that certain ones of them have. Is it they can steal stuff? Whoops. Some of them have specific reputations, you see. Unknown. Unknown. Oh yes, stoical means that they don't care if you put them in fearless. The prisoner is not intimidated by the sight of armed guards and is less likely to surrender during a fight. Yes, stuff to bear in mind with the high security guys.